I watch y'all coming here for years, cause you shot somebody. Now your life is shot. You gonna pick that phone up one day, and that girl gonna be done dumped you, and raise your child with another man. Or maybe your mama or your grandmama dies. Cause ain't nothing you can do about it. You got 15 to 20 years, state or fed time. Real talk. Don't lose your head, use your head, man. Gun crime, max time.
We Tennesseans all have a choice to make in our fight against COVID-19.
I choose to enjoy live music.
I choose to cheer on my team.
I choose to go out.
I choose to stay healthy.
I choose to celebrate with my family.
The choice is simple. Choose to live your life and choose to live responsibly. Face it, masks fight COVID-19.
It's not about challenging times
or new normals.
It's about staying true to what matters most.
And we're more committed than ever to your health.
Your safety has always been our top priority.
Times may have changed,
but they haven't changed who we are.
We're here for you every single day.
This pandemic has hit us hard, but Tennesseans don't stay down for long. We're known for our resilience, and we refuse to back down from a challenge. This challenge is no different. You might be out of work, but there's an opportunity waiting for you. We need you to roll up your sleeves and join our workforce. Right now, thousands of jobs are ready to be filled. Find them at jobsfortn.gov. Let's get to work, Tennessee.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour. It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around. Didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Rub your hands, sir. You all right now?
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, here to explain the Tennessee Hands-Free Law, which is a new state law effective July 1st, 2019. In Public Chapter 412, it makes it illegal for a driver to hold a cell phone or a mobile device with any part of their body, to write, send, or read any text-based communication, to reach for a cell phone or mobile device in a manner that requires the driver to no longer be in a seated driving position or properly restrained by a seatbelt, to watch a video or a movie on a cell phone or a mobile device, and to record or broadcast video on a cell phone or mobile device. So, can I still talk on my cell phone while driving? Yes. A driver is permitted to use an earpiece, headphone device, or a device worn on a wrist to conduct a voice-based communication. The driver may use one button on a cell phone or mobile device to initiate or terminate voice communication, and voice-based communication may also be used to send a text message. Learn more at handsfreetn.com.
And it's still morning time. Good morning to you, and welcome to Talk Back Live in the morning. It is now 11:05, 5 minutes past the hour of 11 o'clock Central Time, and a very pleasant good morning to you on a Wednesday morning. Yes, a lovely, wonderful Wednesday morning, and starting your day off at 91 degrees under sunny skies. A beautiful day to start your day. And I tell you what, it is hot, folks. It's getting back hot again. And we had a couple of few cool days, but yet the temperature is rising again. And it is already 91 degrees, not even noon here in Memphis, Tennessee. And hey, I tell you what, though, we have a great show lined up for you today. Hot topics of discussion, news that you can use, local, national, international. And the number to call is 901-213-6020. Again, the number to call is 901-213-6020. And hey, I tell you what, you can leave your comments as well. All those you that are checking in with us right now, and leave your comments as well. And we'll check in with you on your comments as well. All right, and good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, everybody out there listening, watching, tuning in, wherever you may be, however you may be checking us out this morning. Another great show we got lined up for you today on this was Wednesday. It's already Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday morning, heading into the afternoon, man. So definitely appreciate y'all for tuning in, watching, listening, and however you may be doing so. And man, we got some stuff to talk about on today. What's good, everybody? Seeing the comments rolling on in. Y'all keep on coming in the room and find a good seat, as I always say, for the show this afternoon. So again, man, got some hot topics for y'all today. Stay tuned for that. And real quick, I want to remind you about social media, as I always do each and every time we come on. You can follow us on Twitter at TalkBackLive. That's one word, at TalkBackLive. Also Facebook, facebook.com, TalkBackLive with Bob and Josh. Like our page there, and share the show as well. Also, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com. Talkback Live Network is where you can find the channel on there. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. We definitely appreciate that as well. And those that have already done so, we even more so appreciate that. Also, while we're getting it kicked off here, I want to remind everybody that is watching live right now that you can go ahead and help the show out and support what we do here by hitting the like button. Simple thing. Just hit the like button. All of you that are here right now, if y'all were in one unifying moment, hit that like button. I see y'all already doing so. I much appreciate that. But when you come in, hit the like button and also share the show as well, so more people that you know and don't know can join in on these great conversations that we have here on the show. So, man, that's going to do it. Without any further ado, let's get it on.
All right, and let's start it all off. Let's get it going.
All right.
And in the headlines today, we've got well, I tell you what, there's been so much going on around the city. I mean, you're talking about people being killed. I mean, that's not any good. That's not any news in Memphis. It happens all the time. And turn me up, son. And hey, you know, it's continued to happen, but should it happen in the way that it happens? Well, you know, certain people are saying certain people should be charged with this or that. Well, let's talk about it. Turn my mic up. All right. And hey, let's talk about this to start off today. You all have heard at the Kroger store the situation that's been going on there. At one of the Kroger store, I think it's Poplar and Kirby, I believe it is, somewhere around that area.
That's exactly.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff, a lot of talk going on about that stuff at Poplar and Kirby. And let's see. And let's see. I'm trying to. Let's see. Okay. All right. I don't see my thing on here. Anyway, I didn't get a notification. Okay.
I did. Not to talk about it, but
Okay.
it's fine. I can see it, so you can go ahead with what you were saying.
Okay. Please pull it up for me so I can see it. If you can, please. Thank you. Yeah, the situation at Poplar and where was that at? Poplar and Kirby. That was a bad situation. We're talking about the police story, that happened. The security officer is where I'm going. I'm trying to do two things at once here, and it's not working for me.
Did you go in your messages? That's where it is. That's what.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
It should be the first thing.
Okay.
That's the last thing I said.
I think I see it now.
But I was thinking I could go ahead and.
Okay, go ahead and talk about the story. Yeah.
All right. So as Bob was saying, Poplar and Kirby situation going on at a Kroger down there. And so what happened, in case y'all haven't heard about it, it was a security guard at Kroger, a security guard of all people, shot and killed a man that was pulling up in the gas station to get gas. And the man ended up shot and killed. You see the picture there? That is the officer, the security guard that did the shooting that killed the man that we're going to talk about here. You see his family there with Ben Crump. But first, we want to get you guys familiar with the actual story. And we're going to go from there and see what you all think about it, because there's a lot of angles that you can go with this. And we'll go ahead and do that. But first, I guess we can go straight to the story. And we will be back, because there's a lot to say on it. I know I got a lot to say on it, and Bob does as well. So, and I'm sure you all will also once we play the clip. So without any further ado, let's go to the footage, and we'll be back.
Bond. News alert to tell you about. A Kroger security guard is being held on a $1.8 million bond after police say he shot a man. All of this happening in a dispute over loud music. Tonight, 54-year-old Gregory Livingston is charged with second-degree murder. Shoppers witnessed that shooting yesterday evening at the Kroger Fuel Center at Poplar and Kirby. The WREG's Luke Jones shares their accounts of what happened that night.
Shoppers at this Kroger shaken.
I see the gun blast and I hear it.
A gunshot signaling the end of a man's life and the beginning of a sprawling crime scene at the Kroger Fuel Center on Poplar at Kirby. Police say just before 7 p.m. Saturday, Alvin Motley pulled up to the gas pump with his girlfriend. Here's how a witness describes what happened next.
Black guy pulled up. His music was pretty loud. The security guard walked up to him and told him to turn his music down.
We now know that security guard is Gregory Livingston. After a brief argument, police say Motley got back in his car but then got out again and approached Livingston, reportedly telling him, quote, "Let's talk like men." That's when witnesses heard a gunshot. Motley was hit in the chest.
I tried to do CPR on him, but he was already gone. He was spitting up blood. He was already gone.
Police note the shooting was captured on a surveillance camera. They say it shows Motley walking towards Livingston with a beer can and a cigarette, and then shows Livingston drawing his weapon and shooting Motley.
We have all been in arguments, and you don't just raise your gun up and shoot anyone because someone said something out of the way to you. It was just uncalled for.
Livingston was arrested at the scene and charged with second-degree murder. Police say they recovered a Glock 19 handgun as witnesses struggled to recover from the memories.
I'm still shaky thinking about it. I don't think I'll ever forget the sound.
Luke Jones, WREG, News Channel 3.
Okay, you've heard the story there. What do you think? Now, man killed. This is not funny, but I'm this situation. You can talk about this at different angles. Is what I'm thinking about. I mean, your man was killed at a Kroger gas station because of loud music. Now, was that a reason to shoot a person or kill a guy because he was playing loud music? Or did this story take another turn here and is not going the way that we are understanding that it went? Now, you know how people can be sometimes when a person or an officer or a security guard, especially a security guard or security officer, when a security officer a lot of times tell people to do something, they look at them, oh, you're a rental cop, man. Get out of my face. I don't respect anything you have to say. Is that the case here in this particular situation? I mean, the guy goes to his car. First of all, he drives up. He's boom, 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 boom. You know how they play the music.
Hey, you know what, though? I'm going to say this right off the bat. I don't have a huge problem with that at all. Because you know why? If
you have a huge problem with what?
With the loud music at all. Because
no, wait a minute now. Hold it. I don't have a problem with the loud music either, as long as you're in your own property and you can play your stuff the way you want to play it. But when you out in public, come on now.
But that happens all the time.
It happens all the time. It doesn't mean it's right, though. It doesn't make it right because it happens all the time. It doesn't make it right because people are killing all the time. It doesn't make it right. But what happens a lot doesn't make things right.
Mm. This
guy, he comes up to the place playing his loud music. He's on somebody else's property. And then, they tell him, hey, turn your music down. If they ask you to turn your music down, turn the music down. I mean, if they didn't say anything to you, hey, maybe, it'll be all, I don't know. But first of all, if I drive up on somebody else's property or something, I'm not going to be playing my music all crazy and stuff like that. That's my personal thing. I don't want to put my personal thing on somebody else. And then there's, as a public place, there's probably other people that are there that don't want to hear that crazy stuff or don't want to hear my music. My music may not be crazy to me, but it may be to someone else. Someone else probably don't want to hear it. Not the music, it's that loud noise. And at what time did it happen? What time did this thing...
Well, I mean, it's not that. I don't think that's even that big of a deal. But
okay, what time did it happen, though?
I'm not sure. I think it's in the evening, but I don't want to get caught up because I don't know.
If anybody know what time this happened, whatever time this happened, irregardless, I think. But if it happened,
the same thing applies. What you're saying,
even at nighttime, if it's over the night, that was worse.
But here's the thing to me, and I understand what you're saying, but to me, that's not in the grand scheme of the story. It's not that big of a deal. Because, and I understand, people getting annoyed by loud music. I get annoyed by people's loud music, especially if I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I get that. I don't have a problem with somebody telling somebody to turn the music down. But to me, that's just my opinion, in the grand scheme of everything that happened, it didn't deserve for him to die.
No, I'm not agreeing with that. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's wrong to play your music loud on somebody else's property. Now, I'm not saying it was wrong for him to do it and then get killed.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not agreeing with the killing, the murder that happened here. All I'm saying is that this guy that drove up on Kroger property, I mean, you know, was he wrong in coming up on somebody else's property and playing his loud music? You know, and that type of thing. Somebody said it was GKP. Is that he saying unlicensed security guard?
Yeah.
Well, the guy was unlicensed. I mean, first of all, you have to be licensed to carry a weapon. Well, you know, I don't think that's a thing anymore, but you know, to carry a weapon, and I mean, you know, but was he a unlicensed security officer? I don't know about that, GKP. You know, to do what he did, yeah, it's
oh yeah, but no, you know, not to let that get you off track.
Yeah, I'm not getting it off track. That's a big concern.
Yeah,
ex-police officer. Yeah, he's a security guard, ex-police officer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley, thanks for that. And he's out of Mississippi, so I mean, you know, he's up in Memphis, and he probably lives down there. He comes up here and says, "Man, these guys are crazy in Memphis. I ain't taking no stuff off these guys."
Well, he didn't need to have the job.
He didn't need to have that type of job if he felt that way. You're right, and it's not worth it killing somebody's life and pulling the gun over some loud music, you know. But here's the problem. The problem comes in when the guy gets in his car. Do we have that part that we can play?
What's that?
About the guy. It talks about the guy getting in his car and getting back out of his car with a can of beer. We just played that.
Yeah, that's what we just played.
Okay. Why did he get in his car and then get back out of his car with a can of beer in his hand and a cigarette? I mean, and then, you know, he said something. What was that he said? You know,
let's talk like men.
Let's talk like men. Why was there a reason to talk like men for? I mean, the guy's already told you, you know, to turn your music down. What is it about talking like men for what? Your music loud, man. I'm not talking to this guy now. I'm talking about anybody. If you go somewhere and you're in public, and you know, you know, I come up to you, well, man, I'm playing my music loud. Let's talk about it. Well, talk about what? There's nothing to talk about. You asked me to turn my music down in public, you know, and that's what I should do. What are we going to talk about? I mean, how am I going to come to you with a conversation about my loud music? Let's talk about it, man. While my music is still blasting, I'm up there talking to you. That's wasting your time. That's total disrespect to that property, and that's total disrespect to you because I'm not doing what you asked me to do. That's not right. You know, and you know, hey, my regards go out to the family, you know, and all this stuff. But man, you just can't get out there and do anything you want to do. You know, we have to first of all, this is a young black guy, right?
Yeah, black man.
Okay, black man. All right, he's out in public playing his loud music. We need to teach, first of all, this is where black folk get into black folks' neighborhood and just do anything. We don't even respect each other. So how do you think this guy that don't respect his own community, black people, gonna go up to another location and, you know, like Kroger, and respect that and disrespect them too? Come on, man. We need to teach our people how to do better. This is not the right thing to do. No, I'm not going to agree with what he did. But also at the same time, I'm not going to agree with the pulling of the gun and killing this guy. You know, if the guy, here's my point. Listen to me. If the guy had not gotten back out of, why did he get out of his car? And some people said, what was that comment he made? Let's talk about it or something, he said.
Yeah, let's talk like men.
Let's talk like men.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, did he actually say it like that?
Well, I mean,
or was it in a different tone? We say he said, let's talk like men. Okay, how did he say that to the security officer?
You know what though?
How did he say it to him?
And that is a question. And that is a question. But you know what, though? And it's just me, again. This is not disagreeing with nothing you're saying. It's just my perspective. Mm-hmm. And, anybody could agree or disagree on it. But I'm like this. To me, I am tired of situations where you see this type of stuff all the time, whether you're black or white, people bumping their music loud at a gas station, mm-hmm. right? Whether right or wrong, it annoys me when it happens. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's not the end of my world, just like it shouldn't have been the end of this officer's world to the point of pulling the gun and shooting him. Mm-hmm. He was so threatened by this man with a beer gun and a cigarette in his hand that had no possible way to do anything to him if he wanted to, because his hands are full with a beer and cigarettes, mm-hmm. that he shot him in the chest. Mm-hmm. To me, the focus should be, for anybody else, why in the world did this guy feel so threatened by this black man that had a beer can and a cigarette to shoot him in the chest and kill him? Are we saying that as black folks, we don't have room to do nothing? I'm not, and this ain't justifying anything. And one, this isn't even that serious of a deal because it happens all the time. I'm not saying that you should do it or whatever, mm-hmm. but that you have no room for any sliver of anything, or you're going to get shot in the chest mm-hmm. by a security guard at Kroger. The emphasis needs to be on, in my opinion, mm-hmm. on the officer that was too much of a punk to do his job correctly. Mm-hmm. Period. If you're too scared, how about you leave the man alone because he's going to be gone in a minute? Mm-hmm. How about you not even approach the car? Mm-hmm. You're so scared that you approach this guy's car that you don't even know. As a security guard at Kroger, you're barely making any money as it is. What are you doing? Well, how about if you're so scared of a man with a beer can and a cigarette walking towards you and not even yelling, from my assumption, because I'm pretty sure there's some white witnesses there too, they would have said mm-hmm. that he was yelling and screaming. Mm-hmm. That you shot him in the chest. If you're so scared, how about you just leave the man alone, let him get the gas and leave? Or if you're so scared, how about you call the police and let them handle it? And probably by the time the police get there, he's going to be gone because he ain't doing nothing there but getting gas. My thing is, you see too many situations in this country where, whether it's a police officer, security guard, or whatever the case may be, where, he was doing this, or he was doing that, or he's reaching for a gun that was licensed to him, reaching for his gun license in the car, gets shot by the police. Mm-hmm. He's got his hands up, getting shot by the police. Mm-hmm. He's walking away, running away, getting shot by the police. Mm-hmm. He's sitting down asleep, getting shot by the police. She's laying down in her bed in the car, or laying down in her bed in her own apartment and doing nothing. It gets her door kicked in, shot by the police. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, all this other stuff, I understand it. And I'm not saying it doesn't apply.
You can't mix.
I'm not saying it doesn't apply.
Listen. You can't mix the good things now that happen with the bad.
Well, I can't put this in the same category as a guy pulling a gun on the cops. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that.
Yeah, no, but I know here, if this guy had sometimes we need to learn. We need to tell black people. We need to teach our people that, hey, if you're in a situation, man, don't get out and try to play bully and try to play bad.
I agree with that. He shouldn't have got it. I don't understand why he got out of his car again either. But when he got out of that car the second time, got in his car, got back out of his car, I think that's when it went down. I mean, this officer was probably shaking in his boots and everything else, and and all that kind. But still, mm-hmm. if that's not his type of work, he's been a police officer, they say, and then he's worked this type of work before. Yeah.
I mean, but I don't know what the deal was there. But if he was afraid, he should have been at home somewhere. But here's the thing. The guy gets out of his car, mm-hmm. For what? He should have just driven off. Just drive off, man. I mean, or just turn your music down. Look, and then we want to blame this guy for killing him, which I do blame him. He should never have done that. But here's my point. If the guy wasn't playing his music, and if that guy was loud like that, and if that guy hadn't gotten back out of his car to approach him, he would still be here today. Why didn't he just, first of all, turn the music down, drive off if he didn't have anything else to do, and just get out of there? to get out of the car with a can of beer, number one, in your hand, which is wrong if you're driving. Okay. He was already breaking the law, and he was probably heavily under the influence. And then what made him jump? That's why the reason it jumped out of his car and tried to play Mr. Bad Guy, like he was tough or something. He should have never gotten out of his car. He would have still been alive today. That's my point. So just because people are not supposed to do this to us don't mean that we can go and do anything we want to, and they better not do it. It doesn't mean that they won't do it. Sometimes we have to use wisdom and not do it in the first place. So, hey, I'm not going to even try that. But
Call from
Kevin, welcome to the show. Good morning on a Wednesday.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What's going on, Kevin?
All right. I'm calling in about the security guard that shot the guy at Kroger.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel that he had a right, one way or the other, to shoot that guy, but him shooting that guy should not reflect on police officers.
Okay.
Because he wasn't a police officer.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if he was that scared of a black man with a can of beer and a cigarette, then he should have been at church anyway.
That's what I'm saying, man. Because I understand all the different optics and everything. But again, at the end of the day, this was too simple of a situation, whether it's the music or anything else. Too normal of a situation for somebody to end up dead. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like if somebody is going over the speed limit, they shouldn't be speeding. They shouldn't be speeding to where they should get pulled over. But that shouldn't lead to them dying. You know what I mean? And I know this isn't a police situation, but still, man, it's just a shame.
But this guy shouldn't. He could have walked away just as well as the guy with the can of beer and the cigarette could have walked away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wasn't he the security officer there? That's his job to stay on the property there. His
job is stay on the property. Is to stay on the property. But was it in the end? Was it worth it?
No, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, he's in prison.
But you want the security guard to walk away from everything that goes on the property, and so you drive up there and people start messing with you and all that kind of stuff. Once security officers come over there and say, "Y'all leave him alone," we ain't leaving nobody alone.
There's a reason why he's not a police officer.
Wait.
There's a reason why he's a security guard instead of a police officer. Because evidently he couldn't cut it being a real police.
Kevin, hold on just a second. Now, it doesn't matter. Hold on a second. The man is there to do a job. Okay. If he wasn't there to do a job, then I can see why the company didn't have him there. Okay. He wasn't a police officer, but he was there to do a job. Okay. So if you guys are barking back at me, and then then the security officer say, "Hey, and he turns around and walk away," he didn't do his job. He didn't protect me. I would feel with you guys, doing the wrong thing and messing with me. He didn't protect me. So his job is to protect and to take care of that property that they put him there for. Now, here's the thing.
I understand that.
If he's
but
not
over loud music, whose job is it to protect us?
Okay. Why did the guy play loud music in the first place?
He had his music, just had it playing loud.
Okay. Is that the right thing to do on somebody else's property?
No, it's not the right thing to do on somebody else's property.
Okay, so we're going to uphold the wrong thing?
We're not upholding the wrong thing, but was it worth taking that man's life over his music?
I didn't say it was worth taking the man's life. I'm saying we need to teach our people that when they go to certain places and how to behave and do certain things the right way. We need to stop saying, that, hey, it was, and it was wrong for him. It was wrong. Yes, it was wrong for him to do it. But at the same time, we need to take time out and start teaching young black men and women, okay, this is the way you behave in public. Do not behave that way.
I do wholeheartedly agree with you. But also at the same time, you're going to teach them. You need to teach security guards when to pull that gun.
That's not the point. You can't teach all security officers. That's not our point. Teach our young black men and black women how to behave in public. Once we teach our young black men and women how to behave in public, then, we can feel safer in some cases that, okay, they're going to obey and do the right thing.
And I agree with the training black men. Now, one, this guy's 40, in his early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. Now, and the second thing is, I do agree, about training young black men situations, especially with police. And I think most parents throughout the years have had to have that conversation at some point. It's unfortunate that it's even that case.
Yeah.
But when does the onus start to become on the people that are supposed to be protecting and serving to stop killing us?
Mm.
That is where I have my line is, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I understand all this, but there's plenty of situations again. I know this isn't a police officer, but it was a similar type of situation. How many times does this have to keep happening before we start blaming them?
And it could have been avoided.
Yeah.
It could have been avoided.
I mean, it's too simple of a situation for somebody to die.
Yeah, it was a simple situation, and but my thing is this. I'm not agreeing with the officer or whoever he was. I don't even remember his name, but whatever the officer was, whoever he was, I don't agree with him pulling his gun and shooting this guy at all. Okay, but for this guy though that got killed, for him to get in his car and then get out of his car again and go and approach the guy with a can of beer in his hand, I'm not for sure. Some people say he said, "Let's talk about it like men." I'm not for sure that he said it in that tone. He may have said that in another tone, or did he actually say what they said he said? So, why in the world would he get out of the car with a can of beer and a cigarette in his hand and then go and approach the officer again? Why not just drive off, turn your music down, and settle the whole situation? If that had happened, then the second part of this man getting shot would have never happened. First of all,
but a can of beer and a cigarette is of no threat.
I know. I'm agreeing with you. I
mean, he couldn't drown him with that can of beer.
I'm agreeing with you. But what I'm saying is, we have to learn to take the first steps first. Don't get ourselves in the situation. Like this guy, he should have just stayed in his car and just turned his music down and drove off. If he had done that, then it wouldn't have led to part two. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes we take part one into part two. And we should just
ripple effect.
Right. We shall just take part one and take care of it right there rather than leading it to part two. That's all I'm saying. And we have to teach our people that of what they should do and what they should not do. Even though you get offended, man, this guy, who he think he talking to? We need to teach him, that's the wrong way to approach this. That's the wrong way to do it. Man, just stay in your car, turn your music down, and drive off, whatever the case may be. Stay in part one. Don't get caught in part two, just like this guy did, and he end up his life being lost. So,
well, gentlemen, listen, it's been a pleasure being on y'all's show, and I'm gonna exit the show and get back to work. And once again, I will return.
Hey, man, we appreciate the call.
This is your first time calling, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, well, appreciate it, Kevin.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, thanks, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, 901-213-6020, 901-213-6020. And appreciate the call, Kevin, and great comments. But I'm not, listen, folks, I'm not blaming this guy that got killed. And at the same time, I am not in favor of what the security officer did. No. If there was no gun pulled on him, he should have never pulled his gun. No, that should have never happened. Was he threatened? I mean, did the guy say something that we don't know that he said to the security officer? But those things are important. Some people say, well, that's not him. He pulled the gun. No, we have to think about, like I said, part one and part two. Do we really know all of the conversation? You know, a lot of times some people say, okay, you know the old game we used to play. Okay, I'm going to tell you the real phrase, and then you whisper it in somebody else's ear, and you whisper it in somebody else's ear till it get down to the end of the line. You got 20 people in line. By the time that what you whispered at the beginning get to the last person, that whole phrase is changed around. It is not even the same. And so sometimes when we hear the story, sometimes it's not always the same what we're listening to and what we hear than what actually happened. So, and we have to understand that as well, and just not take what another person says and what they say that said and what happened actually happened in the conversation. So, I don't know. All I know is that the guy was probably fearing for his life is what he's going to say anyway, the reason he shot the guy. But, to get out of the car, first of all, like I said, for this guy to get out of his car and come and approach that security officer that second time, he was wrong. He was dead wrong. I mean, and that's what happened to him. He died. He was wrong, folks. He was wrong. And that's what caused his life. Sometimes we have to do the right thing, what we're supposed to do so we can live. It's not guaranteed that every idiot out there is not going to pull a gun on you. You don't know what these people are going through. You don't know what they're thinking. And this security officer out there, whatever time it was, you don't know what that guy going through. You don't know what his mindset is. Just because he's carrying a weapon and because he's a security guard or security officer or whatever, it don't mean he's got his stuff together. You could be dealing with a madman. I mean, he might have had problems before he left home and he's still pissed. And then you're going to jump and, come on, folks. These guys are not perfect now. You got to understand you're dealing with somebody, man. I mean, come on. I would have never, ever jumped out of my car knowing that guy got a pistol on his hip. And, and jump in his face, with a can of Pepsi. I love Pepsi, but I wouldn't have jumped in his face with a can of Pepsi. And talking about, man, let's talk about it like men. Talk about what? You told me to turn my music down and that type of thing. I'm supposed to behave. I'm supposed to obey you. My music's too loud. You want it down? I'm going to do the right thing. Since I'm in public, turn it down. No, we're going to agree that, don't matter. He's black. Because of he's black, he was shot and killed. No, he was shot and killed because he did the second part and he didn't do the first part. He just obeyed the first part. He did the first part and came around, and the second part, what he did is what I'm trying to tell you. He got out of the car with a can of beer in his hand. He should have never done that. If he had never done that, he'd be still alive. Turn the music down, folks. I'm trying to teach somebody else now. If you're listening, if you run into a situation like this, don't play Mr. Bad. If the security officer is there and he asks you to turn your music down, turn it down. Don't think because you're black and because I can play my music the way I want to, and he's just a security guard, don't think that, things may not go wrong. I wouldn't want to be caught up in that situation. If something happens, I'm not going to make it happen by getting out and getting in his face. I don't know what I'm facing when I jump out of my car and into somebody's face. I could be facing an idiot. I mean,
yeah,
it's not a good thing for me to do that.
Again,
this guy was wrong. And look, shoot this guy.
Look, and that's my thing. I understand. I think most people that are listening, they can't really disagree with what you're saying, but I still feel like GKP said he was from Chicago visiting Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
The man that was killed. I feel like at the end of the day, there was definitely wrong. But I cannot put more emphasis on, again, I understand why you're doing it because of the point that you're trying to prove. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, for anybody, I can't put more emphasis on this guy that was killed than the murderer himself. And even Kroger.
Yeah, I'm not putting emphasis on the guy that did the shooting. I know. I'm saying
I understand what you're saying because you explained it thoroughly.
Let's say for instance, if you are to bake a cake, you don't take the cake out of the box powder, whatever, and then just pour it in a bowl and put it in the oven.
I understand. Like you
gotta go through the steps.
I understand. You explained it for a while. I got it, but still, this man was a security guard. He was the one that is the responsible of the situation there.
Right.
And to kill a man as a result of trying to tell him to turn his music down, however it happened, if he didn't come after you in any violent way whatsoever, he's the one that's wrong.
How do we know he did?
Because no witnesses said he did. There's people all around. And there's no way. Now, this would be crossing the line to assume that he did.
Well, I'm not assuming that he did.
I know that. I know you're not. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. And I'm not saying you are. I'm saying that repeatedly. Okay. So, but to even bring that up is not relevant because they had talked to multiple witnesses. This is a closed-in gas station. It's not like it's a big old area. There's people all over that were standing right there.
Right.
They saw the whole thing happen, including the person that gave him CPR, black and white. Nobody said that it was attacking the security guard. If they did, you better believe somebody would have said something.
Okay.
Because they don't know him or care.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
I know that. I know that. I keep saying I know that you're
My
not.
thing is this. If the guy had stayed in his car, turned his music down, he would be alive today.
And
but
I agree.
Getting out of his car, which he had a right to do. Why did he do it? I don't understand.
And see what you just said right there.
Yeah.
What he did wasn't illegal either.
No, it wasn't. But
okay. even like, let's say, and like I said, I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it.
Why?
Because
not?
Because of the state of things.
The state of what thing? Why wouldn't you do it?
Because I'm a black man approaching a man with a gun, an officer with a gun.
All right.
That's why I wouldn't do it.
Okay, so why did he do it?
Because, like I said, poor judgment, yes. But it wasn't against the law.
Poor judgment took his life. Can you agree with that?
No, not really.
No. Poor judgment took his life because
it resulted in him being dead. But I can't say
resulted in him being dead. Because if he had not made that poor decision to do what? To get out of his car, right? He would be still alive today.
But the officer made the poor judgment of killing a man that didn't have
the officer. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
One thing led to another is what I'm saying. If he hadn't have made the poor decision to get out of his car, he would be still alive today. And we have to understand and train our people. Train our people. Listen, if you're in a situation, if you're in a type of situation like this, they tell you to turn your music down. You're in a public place, security officer, police officer, security guard. I don't care who it is. If they're there and they have any kind of authority and they ask you to turn your music down to avoid the next step. You don't know what the next step may be. And don't do anything to enhance that next step by getting out of your car and approaching.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this like men. Talk about what like men? What about talking about me like men that we got to talk about here?
Now,
no. Listen to me. Listen to my point. What was it that the security officer needed to talk to him about like a man?
Oh yeah,
when he asked him to turn his music down, what was it? What can you imagine? What type of conversation should that have to be?
I get your point, but he shouldn't end up dead regardless.
He should not have ended up dead.
And I understand that.
But what made him end up dead? What started the whole thing? What started it?
Him getting out of the car?
Him getting out of the car and approaching the security guard. He should not have done that.
I don't know, man. And I get what you're saying, but it wasn't illegal either. Now, like I said, I wouldn't have done it. So it's just unfortunate. Now, Stanley said the guy was half blind. That's why he was not driving the car. And these are some details that are important. I hadn't heard anything about who was driving or not. Now, if he wasn't driving, that is interesting. So I guess that would make more sense if he is drinking, because he can drink if he ain't driving.
Well, okay, let's put it like this. If he wasn't the driver, then why did he jump out anyway to say something? That makes it even worse.
Well, I mean, probably because he was drinking, and that would make a little bit more sense. But what I'm saying is, it would make more sense of him driving and drinking.
Yeah, but see, the thing about it is, if you talking to somebody that's a driver, and let's say a police officer. Mm-hmm. He's on the driver's side, and he's talking to the guy talking to the driver.
Yeah.
Let's say this guy was not the driver; he was a passenger. All right. He jumps out of the car and said, "Look, man," and he starts talking to the police officer. The police officer's not talking to him. How do you think that police officer is going to respond?
Well, he's not going to shoot him and kill him.
I hope not. I hope not.
Because that's not his job.
That's not his job, but I hope not. See, what I'm saying is, you can't say he won't, or he will, or he won't.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, we have to teach our people not to do crazy stuff like this. Because you already know how it is in this country. And by you knowing that, don't do foolish things. Stop it, the madness. I mean, certain things are not supposed to happen. I understand that. But it does. It does. It happens. So don't deny what exists. You just can't jump out there and just, I have rights. Yes, I do have rights. But I'm going to use wisdom as well. Greg said we can second guess the situation for
infinity, as with any and all situations, regardless if the wrong or right decisions were made.
Yeah. Okay. What do you mean by that, Greg?
Well, I mean, and somewhat true. I mean, any situation you can decide who shouldn't have done what.
Yeah.
In any traffic stop, any situation where something crazy or off the wall happens that maybe shouldn't have happened.
So you saying, Greg, that anybody can decide who's wrong or right here, but really you don't know. Is that what he's saying?
I guess. I
don't know. What are you saying?
You let us know
what are you saying, Greg?
Maybe it's almost like what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I'm holding the cop more responsible than anybody else. Now, not to say that this guy was just a baby laying in the street and getting shot. I'm not saying that, but a situation like that, I'm not.
Wait a minute, hold on, Stanley. Come on now. He said, nope, the security
was out of place.
Was out of place. He can't tell anyone how to play their music. The police can. Wait a minute, hold it. You mean a security officer?
I was wondering about that.
You mean a security officer, if he's there to give orders or to protect the property, and you drive up on that property speeding and everything else and doing everything wrong, you mean tell me he's supposed to stand there like a dummy? Hey, go ahead and speed. Go ahead and do.
No, that's totally different than the music. That's totally different than music.
Go ahead and play your loud music. You're not supposed to play it, but man, go ahead and play it. We got a rule not to play loud music. But yes, buddy, go ahead and bang it. I mean,
First of all, just to be real,
Stanley.
Just to be real, where in the world have you ever? I have never seen, never in my life, a security guard tell somebody about their music.
Well, you ain't been in it on a lot of places, because
I've been plenty, but what I'm saying is I've been enough.
Well,
I would have seen it happen once, and I'm not saying it never happens.
There are places that tell people that. There are people that tell people that. I guarantee you that.
I'm sure there's plenty of places, but what I'm saying is a gas station.
Yeah.
You see it a million times because people, they bumping while they're driving down the street, and the music is going to be the same level when they pull into the gas station.
Listen. I am not saying that you bumping your music when you pull up to a gas station. I am not saying that, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. You pull up to a gas station, playing loud music. Security officer comes and says, turn your music down. Or could you turn your music down? It's too loud. I ain't turning nothing down. And keep playing your loud music. And then on top of that, the driver or the passenger, whoever it was, gets out of the car and comes in, with a can of beer in his hand, and then want to say, let's talk about this. Like, I mean, if it was the passenger, which somebody said here, they got out of the car, man, he was totally wrong. I mean, I'm talking to the driver, but then the passenger jumps out. Man, this makes me say, whoa, what's going on here?
I get that. And he was drinking, so
he was drinking too. I don't know what this guy's thinking to do to me. What are you? I'm not even talking to you. He's not even the driver. He's not even probably the owner of the car. But, they're going to talk to the guy that's driving more likely as the owner of the car. So, hey, I don't know, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. The guy was shot, which he shouldn't have been shot. He shouldn't have been shot because he took step 1 to step 2, which the guy should have never got out of his car.
Now, Kroger, here's what Kroger said.
Okay.
Kroger. They said they are sorry about this senseless killing that happened on their property.
Mm-hmm.
Now, usually when you hear a senseless killing, it means it didn't make any sense.
What do you expect Kroger to say? What do you expect them to say?
No, I mean, they didn't have to say anything.
Okay, what are they?
They didn't have to say nothing.
Okay, go ahead, take the phone.
Call from
Greg, welcome to the show. Good morning. It's still morning. Yes, you got 3 minutes. Good morning on a Wednesday.
Good almost afternoon.
What's good, Greg?
How y'all this morning? How y'all today, man?
Doing great, man. How about you?
I'm doing good. Let me be brief.
Yes, sir.
Look, as far as what Stanley is saying, now Stanley, you kind of off base. A security guard contracted by any business has a right to enforce, whatever they deem, unlawful, unsafe, or anything to that, effect on that property.
Mm-hmm.
Now he can't come off that property and try to enforce anything, but
Right.
in that area,
Right.
he can.
Absolutely.
So, but I'll say this, there should never ever be a situation where somebody's life, is ended over loud music or anything what the security guard tries to enforce.
Mm-hmm.
Because, security guards, most of them at this day and age can't get physical, anything like that.
Right.
Now, if he's not protected his life or somebody else's life, then no, there's never any reason for him to have pulled his weapon and, discharge his weapon in anybody's direction like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad situation, but, I feel what you're saying, Bob. I do feel what you're saying. But, it's just the extreme end, the way the thing ended, man, it just negates all of the different scenarios that could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could start all the way back to when each of those individuals woke up that morning. They could have did things different from that point up to the time of that man's death. I mean, so, and my point was with the remark I made on the thread there was that, there are always multiple ways for any situation to end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just, like I said, the guy could have stayed in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Or the security guard could have said what he had to say, and once the man didn't comply, then, move on, call the cops or whatever. There's always different ways, regardless if, he did it the right way or the wrong way. There's always different ways.
Yeah.
Even in the right situation, there are different ways to do the right way, right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know, man. I just hate it. But to be honest, I am really surprised that there wasn't much more uproar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of surprised, especially, I'm glad there wasn't because there wouldn't been any need at this point. The guy's in jail. He has a pretty significant bond.
Yeah.
You know, he has a pretty significant charge.
Yeah, he does. Now,
So,
I don't know if you saw. Because we actually didn't play this clip. I don't know if we will or not now because we're going almost an hour on the topic. Ironically, to what you just said, Ben Crump was in town about this situation. The civil rights attorney and the NAACP. They all had a press conference with the family of the man that was killed.
Yeah.
And they're trying to start a uproar about the situation, basically saying, you know, Kroger should be held accountable to not hire security guards that do these racist things like this. Now, what do you think about that?
How can you tell a security guard? Okay,
I'm curious what you think, Greg.
Go ahead, Greg.
Before we talk about it.
I have my own thoughts about Mr. Crump. You know, I'm not a fan of his. Not a fan of his work. And I'm going to stop short of saying I think he takes advantage of situations.
Thank you.
But you can always say that. You can always say that. Now, as far as somebody wants to hold Kroger liable for not, I don't know. You can't account for the guy. You know what happened that day. They didn't know that was going to happen. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I won't think about that. So there's no need to even waste my brain cells on that particular thought pattern.
So you don't think trying to blame Kroger and hold Kroger accountable for this is the wrong thing?
Well, now here's the thing. Now, if they were to dig into this guy's background and find questionable, unscrupulous things, then yeah, you hold the entity that employed somebody with a questionable background, sure. But other than that, just once again, I always say just trying to paint everything that happens between white and black as a racist, ordeal. Well, I mean, I think that's how they messed up in the whole Trayvon Martin situation. Myself, they tried to paint, Zimmerman as a racist. Zimmerman wasn't a racist. He's not a racist. He's a potentially sociopath. Particularly, because racists are not hard to find. They don't hide themselves particularly well either.
Yeah.
So I think, hopefully they won't go down. I mean, because with everything that's in place right now, as far as that situation, it looks like it should be pretty cut and dry if they leave it the way it is. And don't try to paint a picture that shouldn't be painted. I mean, the guy's a murderer, second degree charge, fine, leave it at that, Now, like I said, now they dig deeper and find things, fine, but don't make up stuff.
Yeah.
And do more harm than good in this situation,
But see that we have somebody made a GKP made a comment. He was hired through a third party, not Kroger. That's what I was thinking. Was he a security company? If that's the case, then how can you sue Kroger for this when the security company sends certain people out there to the site?
Well, I guess it's on their property though. But I
would imagine, I would imagine, especially at this day and age, if you're going to hire somebody, they say through a temp, right? So you're going to trust the temp to do their due diligence, and get these people. But an entity like Kroger, you can't afford the kind of, just passing a buck, if you will. Especially if you're going to have somebody that's armed,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a little, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but yeah. I mean, Kroger, anybody with their right mind has worked their salt as an attorney would come after Kroger anyway.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is, because, at some point in time, they're grasping at straws just to get whatever they can or throw it, what they say, throw crap against the wall and see what sticks, And a lot of times that's actually what happens, not in a literal sense, but figuratively speaking, that's what they do. They throw it out there and see what happens. Throw it up. I guess if Oh no, I'm not gonna use that analogy. So that's
Lord.
I'm not gonna use the analogy, no. But anyway, fellas, I got to run, man. I gotta get out here and get back here and work on my tan a little bit more.
Yes, sir.
But,
yeah, it's hot enough, I tell you.
Tragic situation, man. Tragic situation, but it looks like, the wheels of justice have already started rolling on it.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully this will come to you can't bring the young man back, but justice can be done the right way.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, Greg.
Good stuff, man.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right,
man. All right. GKP says, of course, Kroger is the biggest check.
Yeah.
That's why he wants to sue Kroger and pull Kroger into this. I thought about that too. Is that because Kroger, is the one that, the big company that can pay, that security company can't do nothing for you in as far as the lawsuit.
And just to remember now, Ben Crump doesn't actually fight in court.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a civil rights attorney, he does the public speaking and representation of that matter, when speaking for the family and stuff like that. Now, I'm sure they will get an attorney to go further, but I am curious what can be done at this point. But before we get into that, I think we should play the story here of that press conference, and the NAACP is getting involved.
Yeah.
Van Turner,
yeah.
Who's
NAACP president of Shelby County.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's take a listen to this, folks, and we'll be back. 901-213-6020 if you'd like to call. And thanks for the comments. We'll read some of your comments as we get back as well. Take a listen to this.
Tops the news at 5. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. Ben Crump stood today with the family of a man killed Saturday by a Kroger security guard. And together, they're calling for justice and accountability in this case.
I don't care how loud you think it is. You do not have a right to kill a young black man for playing music.
Our Janae Lewis is live at East Memphis, where this happened, with the family's message to the community. Janae, what are they saying?
Well, first off, we've learned that the family of Alvin Motley met with Shelby County District Attorney Amy Wyrick this morning. They say the second-degree murder charge is a good start, but they're calling for full transparency in this case, and that starts with viewing their surveillance video of the shooting that was captured here at this Kroger Fuel Center.
Can we just talk about this like men? And he was shot, so that's what I'll have to remember.
His final words: the family of Alvin Motley Jr. traveling from Chicago to Memphis to get the body of their loved one. Police say Kroger security guard Gregory Livingston shot and killed Motley at the fuel center off Poplar and Kirby Saturday night following a dispute over loud music. Today's civil rights attorney Ben Crump joined the family in the calls for justice.
They were at the gas station. They were not going to be there more than a minute after they got gas. Same thing with Jordan Davis. But yet they wanted to impose their will to say, black people, obey me.
Livingston has been arrested and charged with second-degree murder in Motley's death.
I forgive the man, but I want him punished to the fullest extent. And I want him to live as long as I live, so that he'll have to think about what I have to think about forever.
The staggering pain of loss.
He's my only brother. They took my only brother away from me. My brother, like my dad said, my brother was the life of the party.
A loss too great for words, but they want to make sure those charges end with a conviction.
This can't be business as usual. It's Alvin Motley, but it's going to be your brother next time. It's going to be your son next time. It's going to be your daughter next time. We got to make sure that Alvin Motley means something. And what that means is we will not stand for this again, never again in this community.
The family says this also means that everyone will be held accountable.
We want to send the message loud and clear to Kroger that you have a responsibility to have security guards who don't profile black people and kill them for playing music as they're coming to pump gas, being your customer, putting money in your pocket.
Now, before that press conference, Kroger did release a statement to us that reads in part, quote, "We are deeply saddened, extremely angry, and horrified by this senseless violence." They concluded by saying the only outcome they seek here is justice. Reporting live at East Memphis, Janae Lewis, WREG News Channel 3.
And we'll follow that search for justice every step of the way. Janae, thanks. We've also been digging deeper into Livingston's background. Not only was he a former Horn Lake police officer, but state records show that he recently submitted an application to be an armed security guard. And according to that application, he completed a training course just 2 weeks before Saturday's shooting.
Okay, what do you think, folks? Okay, I'm looking at something here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm stuttering like I am. But at any
Yeah,
rate, 901-213-6020. What do you think about this whole thing? Is it crazy, or did these Kroger, should they be held accountable?
Call from
Joey Manchester.
to accept, press 1.
Joey, welcome to the show. Good afternoon on a Wednesday.
What's up? Is this Bob and Josh?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Doing good. I heard from you guys from a good friend of mine.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for listening.
And where are you calling from, if you don't mind me asking?
Nashville.
Nashville. Okay, thanks. Nashville is in the house. All right, we have several people listen to us from Nashville. Yes. What's on your mind?
That's what's up. So I was giving you guys a call because we're doing a huge show with one of a guy that y'all used to work with, and I'm actually going to be in Memphis Saturday for the first time. And the reason why Memphis is special to me is because I got trained by B.B. King as a kid, and I was interested to have me on an interview to promote the new concert your boys are in. You guys remember Jordan Copus, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jordan's going to be doing a concert with us in November in Florence, Alabama.
Okay, yeah.
And so I was wondering, are you guys interested in having me come on the radio while I'm in town for the first time?
Yeah, well
I'm thinking we could talk off.
We could talk off the air about that. Yeah, just give us a call back.
All right, cool.
Okay,
All right,
and what do you think about the situation? Is that what you call about the Kroger situation?
No.
Yeah, I was just calling about that.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, man. But we'll talk to you about that.
Okay. All right,
Thanks,
man. All right. 901-213-6020, and but at any rate, yeah. So this guy, he made me lost my.
I got you. But while we do that, I'm gonna read a couple comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
Robert says the only people that could be named in the lawsuit, it's Livingston, which is the family, the shooter, his security company that he works for, Kroger. If they want to add them to the lawsuit, they can. But there's no legal way that you'll be able to sue Kroger.
Yeah.
So there's that. Stanley Finster says Kroger and the security company are responsible. And he also says you sue everybody.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, how is that going to work though when Kroger is responsible? Kroger hires a security company, and then they send the people out there. So how's, the point was made that Kroger is responsible for getting a murderer or a person that was they were saying that Kroger is responsible for hiring a security company that's responsible for sending somebody out to target black people. What? How did Kroger know that this guy was gonna target black people? I mean, I don't get that. I really don't. This is what Van Turner said. Kroger hired a security company and hired somebody to come out there to send a security guard out that would just basically target black people. I don't agree with that. I just don't agree. I don't know. Anyway, do you think that the security company, that Kroger hired a security company that would send people out to target black people? If that was the case, I mean, a lot of stuff would have been going on a long time ago with Kroger in this.
We have a responsibility to have security guards who don't profile black people and kill them for playing music as they're coming to pump gas, being your customer, putting money in your pocket.
Yeah, but hey, you can come and pump gas. You're welcome to do that. But at the same time, I mean, you can't just come up to my gas pump and put the pump in your car and let it run gas and then urinate all over the parking lot. Either. You can't do that just because you're giving money to my company. So there's certain things that I mean, just because you're buying gas from me and putting money in my company doesn't mean I'm supposed to let you get away with all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay? I mean, hey, if you do crazy stuff, then you should be targeted. You should be held accountable for what you do while you're pumping my gas. There's only certain things you can do while pumping gas. And there's certain things you're not supposed to do when you're on their property. Come on now, folks. I mean, you just can't do anything anywhere. We need to teach black people, black men and women everywhere. You just don't do crazy stuff. Certain things you don't do. And you don't hear from these characters from the NAACP until something goes down that they want to get involved in and make themselves seem like they're famous. All of a sudden, here come the big guy, the NAACP. What is it? I'm not going to say what I think it is. But anyway.
Look, here's the thing.
But why aren't you there before?
I understand that. But look, again, I am not putting the loud music to that category of criminal behavior. Now, like I said,
I never said that.
I know. But
I want people to understand that's not what I'm saying.
I know.
Okay.
And it's just to me, again, you hold the officer accountable. And all these guys, and I do get what y'all are saying about them coming out and not saying anything when there's all this stuff going on in the city. And I don't disagree with that at all, as far as all that's concerned. But at the same time, I don't disagree with them supporting the family. I don't disagree with them pushing for justice.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't disagree with them wanting to go forward with a lawsuit if they're going to do that.
Yeah, I don't.
And I'm not even going to rule out the race element in it. And I know Greg was kind of ruling it out. But look, it's a white officer from Mississippi that shot and killed a man that had a beer can and a cigarette in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what he said to you. I don't care what the situation is. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he was charged with second-degree murder so quickly and over $1 million bail so quickly. And that's why Kroger said it was a senseless murder, because it didn't make any sense. They don't hire security to kill people with beer cans in their hand. If that was the case, you could shoot everybody at a gas station getting out of their car with a beer can, getting in and out of the car, and cigarettes. That's literally what you go to the gas station.
And why hasn't this security officer done that then in the past? Just shot people that got out of their car, other black people. If he was there to just target black people, I mean, I'm pretty sure there were more than just these. This is not the first black people that pulled up to that station.
No, I agree. I'm not saying he's there to pick them off, but he found an opportunity to do it. It's just like any other cop.
And you're right. You're right. Don't give them an opportunity to do anything. Don't give them that opportunity. When this guy jumped out of the car, whoever he was, the driver or the passenger, and if the passenger got out of the car, that was really, that was really bad. And jumped up to the officer and all this kind of stuff. And however he said it, what he said, and that type of thing, that was a big no-no. That was a big no-no, and he should have never been shot. I want y'all to understand what I'm saying. He should have never been shot. But what he did, he started the ball rolling. You don't know who you're dealing with when you're talking about these security officers or police officers. You don't know what they'll do. And then again, it's not an excuse for them. But at the same time, you don't want to be the one that tried out and find out either, And so, you want to be careful with this. But here's what I wrote down. If it was a police officer that told him to turn his music down, would he have gotten out of his car and approached the police officer? No, he would not. No, he would not. I hope he wouldn't have. I don't know. I don't think he would have. But these days, you never know. So would he have approached the police officer the same way he's approached the security officer? Because he felt, man, you just a security officer. It doesn't matter. He's hired there to do a job. And his job, what he thought he was doing was say, hey, turn your music down. Do not be turning the music loud on our property. He has a right to do that as long as they're on his property. He has a right to do it. Now, he can't go across the street to McDonald's and tell them to turn their music down over there because that's not where he's working. But as long as he's on the property where he's supposed to be, and you drive from Wendy's and now you own Kroger property and that's where he's working, now what he says can make a difference. So we have to keep that stuff in mind. What do? Train Black people, train us how we are supposed to behave in public. Yes, it's too late to talk about this guy now. I mean, he's gone. You can't go back and train him now. But we need to pass this along. So, hey, NAACP stepping up. Well, this is wrong. This is wrong. Yeah. But how about getting up there before this stuff happened so people can hear from you on a regular basis and training Black people what we should and should not do, what we should say and what we should not say in certain situations. You don't hear people in that type of situation helping to train people what they need to do. And it needs to happen.
Well, I mean, how are you going to train people? I mean, that's the thing. All that stuff starts at home. I don't think the NAACP.
Well, it starts at home, but at the same time, you have public schools, you have private schools, you have different entities that train in different ways. You have people like us that have airways. We can invite people on.
I understand that.
Questions. There's all type of ways people can be training in different areas if they spread the news in different ways.
Let me throw this out there. Last thing, because again, I understand all that, but you're still gonna have people doing it. Whether just real quick, white, Black, or whatever, they're gonna be doing this stuff. That's what the police and security are there for, and laws are there for, put in place for these situations.
Yeah,
and also where I again put the onus on these officers more, in just my viewpoint of things. Whether you're a security or police, you're gonna face these situations all the time.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle it the right way, you don't need to have the job.
Yeah.
Because you can't go around killing people that walk up to you or walk up with speeding tickets and beer and cigarettes and music.
I agree.
It's ridiculous.
I agree.
So that's where that line. Now, I will say this to the credit of the situation. If you're going to be out here and these officers get arrested like this continuously, when they do something, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Second-degree murder right off the bat. $1 million fine right off the bat. That's all good. Hopefully the conviction follows. But all of that sets a precedent for these officers, and whether it's security or police, to quit doing this crap.
Okay. Period. All right.
They need to be held accountable too.
Let's read the last comments on here, and then we'll see what we can do to get out of here today. What the last comments say? Riddell.
Well, I got him here, if you remember, with the click here.
Yeah.
Robert Lee says, Van Turner said that for the ignorance of the people, just for some hand claps. Okay. Riddell said this is the second case of someone being killed for loud music. A kid in Florida suffered the same fate, which is what the other guy that was speaking here was referencing. When will it stop? Stanley says, yes, there was a reason that he resigned in South Haven to become a security guard in Memphis.
Oh.
So there's that. And Stanley says security guard doesn't equal law enforcement. No, I'm not saying that, but to a degree, they're kind of the police of that area. Right? If you're a security guard, of course there's a much lower level of training and everything else. But still, Yeah, and that depends on what type of security. At the
Yeah,
same
it all
time.
depends.
Depends on what type of security too.
And what company they're with.
Yeah, what company and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What the training regimen is, what the requirements are to even get that job. All that stuff matters to determine what type of quality security it is. But either way it goes, they're technically the police of that spot that they're meant to secure.
Right.
So I understand that. That's why I put them in a similar category. So it's what it is.
It is what it is, and we're sorry to what happened, and the family. Our prayers go out with you, and let's not continue to say this over situations to where we need to, Black people don't need to be in this situation where you continually think that you're right, jumping out of the car into police officers' face, security officers' face, and saying things that you ought not to say when there's complaints about you playing your loud music or whatever you're doing. Just do the right thing, obey what they say, and then, move on and get out of the situation. Don't put yourself and make yourself, a victim in a situation like this when you just can simply obey and then move away. That's all you have to do. Don't make a big deal out of it, Sometimes making a big deal out of it can be like what happened here in this particular situation with this security officer and this young man that lost his life. Did he have a right to say what he said? Yes, he did. But sometimes by having the right to say what you want to say may not be the wise thing to say what you want to say. That's the problem. All right, Frankie, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us on the late end of the show. Hey, this is going to do it for us today. Thanks for all your conversation, your phone calls, and it's been some great stuff. Great comments, by the way. And appreciate you listening to us, and we'll do this again another time. I got some more great topics and situations to talk about. And this just went through the whole show today. And hey, I tell you what, stay cool and stay hydrated. And y'all have a blessed day today. And we'll be back again and soon. And we'll talk to you again next time on Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh. Have a wonderful day, everybody.